Well, hello, thanks for tuning in. Here we are again today on the church history trail, and we're in the village of Killyleagh, and we're looking down the main street here. And if you can see down the bottom there, you can see Strangford Lough. I'll just try and zoom in on that. As you can see, that's Strangford Lough there down at the bottom. But also behind me here is actually Killyleagh Castle, and I think you will agree with me that this is actually a fantastic castle. I only recently discovered Killyleagh Castle about a year ago. I actually read about it in a book. I came across it and didn't even know it existed until then. And so I said to myself, I'll have to go and visit it. But there's also a wee coffee shop here called Picnic, and in the summer, Picnic, normally they have their tables and their chairs out here, and so you can sit on a good summer's day and enjoy a cappuccino or a cup of tea, and you're right in front of the castle. Now, Killyleagh was settled in the 12th century by the Norman knight John de Courcy, and he built fortifications on the site of the castle in 1180 AD. Of course, John de Courcy is also famous for building Carrickfergus Castle, and what a magnificent building that it is. You can't miss it there if you're heading to Lorne at Carrickfergus. It's fantastic. And also, of course, it was John de Courcy who invented the cult of Patrick. If you remember, John de Courcy, when he came to Ireland, he fought a battle at Downpatrick in which he fought against the Irish chiefs. But also some of the Irish chiefs actually fought with him against the other Irish chiefs, and he won the battle. And it was actually de Courcy who invented the cult of Patrick. He commissioned a monk at Inch Abbey, Downpatrick, and of course then the cult of Patrick had begun. And the castle was also, it actually was besieged, and the castle was besieged in 1649 by Oliver Cromwell's forces, who they actually sailed gunboats into Strangford Lough and blew up the gatehouse. So the gatehouse here is not original, of course, because the Cromwellian forces blew up the original gate. But also in 1689, the castle became the focal point again, because in April 1689 there was a battle which was fought near the town when Colonel Talbot of Cormac O'Neill's regiment defeated supporters of King William under Henry Hunter, and so this battle is actually known as the BREAK of Killylea. And the Williamite supporters actually gathered here at the castle, and Archibald Hamilton Rowan, in the 18th century, he was a founding member of the Dublin Society of United Irishmen, and in 1791 he was working alongside the famous radicals as Wolfe Tone and William Drennan. Of course, they formed the society in 1791, and so he was imprisoned for a wee while, and he was also sent into exile. But also there's a wee stone here to another famous son here, which is Hans Sloane. And Hans Sloane, it's from Hans Sloane that we actually get the collection, the foundation for the collections of the British Museum, the Natural History Museum, and also the British Library. There's a wee plaque here to Hans Sloane, and I'm going to read it out to you. You can see an engravement there of what he looked like, and I'm going to read this wee plaque, some of it anyway, to you. It's Sir Hans Sloane was born at Killyleagh in 1660. He was the president of the Royal College of Physicians in 1719 to 1735. And where he was born, actually where he lived, is just around the corner from here. Now, the house was knocked down in about 1970, if I remember rightly, to make, whenever they done the adjustments to make the road. But there's a wee stone plaque up where the house was, and that plaque was actually over the door of the house, and so they still have that. And I'm just going to take a wee walk up closer. This is actually still lived in today. The Hamiltons actually still live in Killyleagh Castle, as you can see. It says there, just zoom in on that for you. Killyleagh Castle is an occupied private home And so the gates are left open so that you may view the castle from this point. And so that's the castle itself. There's the coat of arms, I think that is above the battlements there. And that's the castle itself, which I'm sure you'll agree is magnificent. I think, if I remember rightly, it was actually fashioned after the French style, if I remember rightly. Don't quote me on that. But it reminds me a wee bit of the castle church at Wittenberg, where Martin Luther, of course, signed his famous 95 Theses, because part of that is actually in white as well. And so it's very strange to see a castle like that actually here in Northern Ireland. I'm sure you will agree. And so getting back then to Archibald Hamilton Rowan, and in later life he actually returned back to his ancestral home of Killyleagh Castle. And one of his ancestors was actually James Hamilton, and James Hamilton became the first Viscount Clannyboy. And he had moved, James Hamilton had actually moved from Bangor to Killyleagh Castle in about 1625. So when you think about it, that's really amazing, because that's how long the Hamiltons have actually lived in this castle, because they're still there today, the Hamilton family. And it has been the home of the Hamilton throughout all those centuries, ever since. And here you can see the tower, which is actually the memorial tower for the war. So that's a memorial for the wars. You can see there 1914 to 1918. I'll just zoom in on that and let you see that, as you can see there. And so that's actually a memorial for the war dead. And we'll just go through here, the battlement here. There's a wee walk through. It's fantastic. It really gives you the feel that when you're walking through here, that you're back in time. It's really fantastic, and there's also a fantastic view, which I'll show you as well shortly. I like the way the trees line here. It does really give a good feel to it, and then you can see the wall as well. If my friend Jim from Banbridge was here, he would love this, because he loves looking at buildings and walls, and he's fantastic that way. You'll have seen him on couple of the other films, 3 actually. He was in Carrickfergus, if you remember when we done the videos in that. But believe it or believe it not, this castle actually came under attack again in the 20th century, because during the troubles of the 1920s, the castle came under attack by the Irish Republican Army, believe it or believe it not. And the Belfast Telegraph tells the story of the time that one of the Hamiltons was woken at about 2 AM in the morning, and he exchanged gunfire from the battlements, which was terribly exciting, as it puts it. And so that's amazing, isn't it? That one of the Hamiltons was actually exchanging gunfire with the Irish Republican Army in the 1920s. And so the Hamilton family actually still live in Killyleagh Castle today. There's the castle there coming up over the walls. You can see the tower, the white tower. And also there's some more wee towers here, and there's another gate as well down here, which I will show you. And so it's a great wee day out for the history in Killyleagh. And so you can see the tower there, and again there's another tower down the bottom there, and also there's an entrance. You get a good view from the side of the castle here, as you can see, just over the wall there, which is brilliant. It's amazing, isn't it? It's definitely worthwhile a visit. I really enjoy when I come here, you know. This is the first time that I've actually videoed here. And so there you can see another entrance for the castle. You would nearly think you're back in the time at John de Courcy. So you would. And the wee slits and all, do you see that? Brilliant. Fantastic. But then I'll cross the road here and let you, there's a fantastic view here as well. There's a really great view here, as you can see. That's the football pitches. And you can see, I'll try and zoom in, see if you can see the graveyard there. If you can see the graveyard there, just at that line of trees, that's actually a new graveyard. Or modern graveyard, should I say. And then there's also an old chimney here, so there must have been a factory. Can you see the poke there? That's actually a chimney, an old chimney. So there must have been a factory here at one time as well. And actually over that direction there's also the remains of a very, very ancient church. It's a graveyard as well. And I've actually been down at that, so I have. Now in our next video then, we're going to look at another famous man from Killylea. Well, he came to Killylea, and that was the Presbyterian minister, the Reverend Henry Cook. Of course, in the 19th century, there was a fierce storm here, which erupted within Presbyterianism. And so that's what we're going to look at in the next video. And again, if you like these videos, then why don't you subscribe to the channel and also give me a wee thumbs up. Thanks for listening.